Yep, it's your boy Boss. Yep. Obviously bringing you
another one.
This one is very, 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 very important too. It is. It is. So today, we're dealing with interpreting the tea leaves of the offensive line through the eyes of Mike McCarthy. Because I'm really paying attention to this, because this is honestly not easy. It's not. Some years are easier than others. This is not an easy year at all to really manage BPA, best player available, or need. Some of this I think it's some people not seeing because it's a little bit hard to see. So we go through it today. We go really kind of break this stuff down. And the good thing is this. I'm gonna get y'all help on this. So we go freestyle through this. I'm not coming like I got all the answers on this one. I'm actually open to change. I'm open to get some ideas from the fans, from the people that follow Boss Cowboy Sports. So we go kind of go through this, man. Y'all sit back, relax. I'll be right back. Boss Cowboy Sports.
Another one.
Let's go! Come on, man. Y'all get up in here. Let's go. Gotta talk about this, man. Come on. Let's go! Yeah. Y'all give me one more second. One more second. Ooh-wee. Almost forgot one important thing. Alright. Everything good now. Alright, let's go. All right, here we go. Let's go. Let's rock with it. Let's go. Come on now. Let's get it. It would have been bad. Ooh, you got to really watch this stuff, man. This stuff will take off on you. All right, so let me fix my camera too, man. So some things you got to do after the fact. Y'all let me know if y'all see this. It's gonna change on you, but it's gonna make the quality better. Watch this. Boom. Yep. Much better quality. All right. So, yeah. So, make that 4K really 4K. right, we got to get that stream looking better. All right, so anyway, today we dealing with this offensive line stuff, and we gonna be cutting up Mike McCarthy's words in a lot more detail. This likely gonna even become not just on offensive line, but just period, just kind of deciphering tea leaves. So we will also open up the phone lines on this one as well, because this dilemma, I don't think it's easy to see. So I'm gonna talk through it. All right, let's talk through it. So first things first, just kind of, y'all give me 1 second. So I'm gonna show y'all where I think a lot of people are missing it, just real quick. This is where I think a lot of people are missing it. The timing. See, because still going down is what a lot of people, which is weird to me, are not equating into the 2023 Dallas Cowboys need. Like when I listen to a lot of people, they assume that Steele is going to be back. Now, and I'm talking about for the start of the season. And hopefully that happens, but I think that's kind of premature to assume that. So on December 12th, this is where Patrick No C Walker wrote about Cowboy Steele having that season-ending injury. So if you stop and think about it, December 12th, who also went out late in the season not last year, the previous year? Who went out? And when did they come back? Let's just pause and just kind of meditate on that question that I just asked. Who went out and when did they come back? So obviously that was Michael Gallup, right? So he went out. He didn't come back to week 4. And that was a push to do that. That was a push. I'm going to say that again. Basically, they rushed him. Michael Gallup. Yeah. Gallup around the same time. Yeah, around that same time. So I know we all excited that we saw Terrence Steele doing the scooty scoots. But I think it's very premature to assume he's going to be back. What's up, Bob Heck? And then J. Rod say, I would say that Steele misses at least half the season. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I have no idea. But I don't want to assume that he's going to be ready by week 1. I do not. So if we just kind of stop with that particular thought right there and just take a pause and digest it and just think about it, digest it. This is what's going on right now, according to how they're talking. So if you take a look, and we go just pause and just let's just digest this. Before we start getting into this content, let's digest what's going on. Okay? So as of right now, the rumors coming from the Dallas Cowboys have been reports about Tyler Smith and Tyron Smith playing the tackles. So he said, my boy Bob Heck said Terrence Steele will come back before Gallup on because he's going back and forth. I'm thinking week 3 or 4. So Bob, Gallup came back week 4. You know what I'm saying? So, and remember, that was a record. Nobody came back as fast as Gallup did in the history of the NFL. So I don't want to guess, Bob, and my main reason is because we've seen different things happen. Remember Tristan Hill, it took him a long time to come back. It took Tristan Hill a long time to come back from that ACL. Gallup didn't take as long. But I don't want to assume, and even when Gallup came back, it was, you know what I'm saying? It was, so it's like, if we get still, do we want to rush him? No. And I know you're not saying that, Bob. I know you're not saying that. Not you particularly. I'm just thinking out loud. That's why I say I'm going to need y'all help to think this through. Like, for real. Like, usually content creators come like we got all the answers. Sometimes we got to think through it together. Happy birthday also, Amp. Today is officially Amp's birthday. So, but based on the reports, let's take a look, right? And say, this is where we're sitting. This is where the Dallas Cowboys are advertising that's what they would like to see. And then my boy Chris talked about Zay Flowers. We talked about that yesterday. We talked about how many top wide receivers that they have been looking at on 30 visits and pro day visits. So add Zay Flowers to the list to people that might be picked at 26, because they putting a lot of attention on that. But let me go back to what I'm saying. So this is what honestly we really looking at. This is what we really looking at around week 1. Is this something to be optimistic about? Right? If you the Dallas Cowboys and you invested this offseason in an all-in free agency, are you excited that your future potentially looks like this? Because what if, let's just play the what if game. Let's play what if. What if we lose T. Smith? Is that far-fetched? Is that far-fetched? No. I was at training camp when he went down. When his hamstring came off the bone. We talking about Tyron Smith. I was there when his hamstring came off the bone. So you potentially telling me already before the season even start that by week 1, it's a real possibility, especially when you look at the injury history of Tyron Smith. And if you are making the calculation that likely still will not be ready, and if he is, he's going to be rushed out there. How can we, in good faith, look at what we potentially could be facing and not see it as a potential emergency plan? How? Because then let's also add to the fact that if you did lose Tyron Smith, who is his replacement? And see, Amp, shout out to Amp on his birthday. My boy working hard out there in them streets. Shout out to all the men and women that work on their birthdays, that do what they got to do for their family. Shout out. Thank you for listening too, bro. I appreciate it. You could be kicked back, feet kicked up, chilling on some barbecue, but my boy is hard at work. Hard, and I appreciate that. And then Shane said, this is a good idea, and I'm likely gonna do this, Shane. He said, boss, you need to revisit this topic after the draft. I think I will, because we got to take a look back at this, Shane. You know what I'm saying? And then Frank said the same thing, you know, in terms of guys being ready. TP not going to be ready when the season starts. And if he is, they rushing him. You see what I'm saying? Also, shout out to Life Crazy. Life Crazy, man, where you been, dog? My boy Life Crazy. See, this is the funny thing. I want to say one thing about my boy Life Crazy. Life Crazy has been beating the drum for offensive line at 26 from the very beginning. I just want to give a special shout out to my boy Life Crazy. He has been really beating that drum. Shout out to Life is Crazy. Now, originally I wasn't even with Life, but the more and more I do research like what I'm talking about right now, the more I see that Life Crazy was right the entire time. So let's ask this question. If Tyron Smith was to go down, who is going to step up behind him? Would that be Ball? Huh? Would that be Ball? Would that be Matt Lewesko, who has no starting game experience? Or could that be A. Collins? He has a lot of league experience, but he ain't played a lot of right tackle. And I see a lot of y'all saying Collins, but remember, this is the Dallas Cowboys, right? Where we believe in our guys. What did we do last year when we needed? Because it was clear last year who should have started. Who should have started last year? Huh? Yeah, Collins should have started last year, but did he? No. They pulled the we like our guys on us, didn't they? So likely, who's going to be protecting Dak? We talking about Ball or Matt Lewesko. So sometimes that's why I do these diagrams, because when you do these diagrams, it's better. Somebody said Elijah Wilkinson. I like that. I do like that Elijah Wilkinson would be potential. But see, remember, it's going back to what I said. See, remember I've been saying for the longest, I don't have no problem with us getting guys. It's how we treat those guys when they're here. So, and Elijah and all the outside free agents, I'm not betting on that, because that's not how Stephen Jones prefers it. He prefers it when the drafted guys get their chance. So yeah, last year Collins was clearly better than Matt Lewesko coming off a bad wing and a shoulder, and Ball was just pass pro bad. His run blocking was good, but his pass pro was bad. And they still sent Ball out there. So good idea, and I like what you're saying, but it doesn't match our history, which tells me we are low-key in an emergency situation. How can we see it any different than that? How can you see it any different than we are low-key in an emergency situation? That's why I said on Twitter, this year, all this BPA talk at 26, I don't think this is the year for BPA, or just pure BPA, like pure. No, I think there's too big of a hole at offensive line. Too big of a hole. So let's talk about something real quick. Hold on real quick. I wanna kind of break this down a little bit more. So we said we was gonna look at what's up, Queen? Good to see you, Queen. I want to go through this through the eyes of Mike McCarthy. Let's listen. Let's also break this all the way down. We go also circle this into solutions. All right. So we're not here to complain. We're here to talk about potential solutions. So let's listen to Mike McCarthy. Here we go.
Talked about protection a lot, and Tyron Smith coming back, and just where Terrence Steele is in his return, and how you envision, because you have three pretty good tackles there. How you envision?
Yeah, we've been talking about that, and it's hey, get your your five most veterans on the field at the same time. I mean.
So let's stop right there. Because I don't want to rush through this. That's why I said on the thumbnail, the most important thing we're doing is we're interpreting the tea leaves. Okay, so we're not going to rush this. All right. So one of the things that Mike McCarthy said is one of his ideas is to get the 5 most veteran guys. All right, so let's go through that.
It's hey, get your your 5 most veterans on the field at the same time. I mean that's a very fair outlook, but how you train those positions, because you're definitely 17 games it's a long year, and we haven't had the 5 linemen with consecutive starts. My time here, you have to pay attention to those statistics.
So let's kind of interpret what he's saying. I'm gonna put my clear out views on this one. So when I put on these shades, I'm saying it clear. So this is the thing. So he said, ideally, you want to have your 5 most veteran linemen out there. Ideally. But then he started talking about it being a 17-game season. And we haven't had the fortunes of having 5 veterans basically stay put, don't move. These are your 5. These guys gel together. The last time we saw anything resemble anything close to that was likely 2014 and 2016, where most people will arguably say that our offensive line was at its best. So let's keep listening to it, because he kind of gets into some more things that's important. Here we go.
But we've lived that the last 3 years. So with that, we need to train that way. So we're going to have position flex with some of our players. Some of our young guys need to take the next big step, and I think they definitely will. With Lasco and Ball, and so
And see, I try not to fall for the wee woo. What names did he bring up? He said, well, let's go and Ball. Collins is still on the roster. See, this is why I have issues sometimes with the Dallas Cowboys every now and then. Because remember, I just said one of y'all brought up one of those outside free agents that we brought in. But you notice they hardly ever reference those guys. They treat most of our outside free agents truly like bastards. Yep. They do. They treat them like bastards. They didn't even mention Collins. But see, notice we supposed to have a guard gap according to the rumors. But when they start talking about guys stepping up, who did he mention? Ball and Matt Lewisco. Isn't that a coincidence? I'm going to say it again. They are telling us in the public, oh, that we got our tackles secure. We got Tyron Smith. We got Tyler Smith. Those are our 2 tackles. Guard is our problem. We might move Steele to left guard. But see, when you just talking and you're not watching what you say, the truth come out. See, that's key. The truth does come out when you watch what you're saying, because you ain't talk about guys who could be the left guard backups. You brought up on your own, unprompted, the tackle backups. Just an observation. Yeah, just an observation. Here we go.
I think Matt Farniak's in there every day, so these young guys need to elevate, and hopefully we'll continue to add to that room too. So position flex will be important.
He said, hopefully we begin to add to that room too. What room is that? What room is that? Yeah. Yeah, what room is that? He was talking about the tackle. Because the people that he brought up was Matt Lewesco and Bob. And he say, hopefully we add to that room too. So that's why I want to break this down slow. And my boy Cozy Banks say Collins isn't young. I mean, that don't really matter. He was better. He was better. He was better than Ball and Matt Lewesco. He could have been 40 for all I care. He could have been 50. He was better. So here we go.
Because ideally, I'd love to line up. I mean, I tell you this all the time. Just you look at the statistics of an offensive line that has consecutive starts, it directly equates to winning football games.
Ooh, see, I ain't go past that. See, that's why you gotta slow these things down. You can't rush through these. Listen to what he just said.
It's a line that has consecutive starts, it directly equates to winning football games.
A line that have consecutive starts together directly correlates to winning football games. Let me play that again.
An offensive line that has consecutive starts, it directly equates to winning football games. I mean, I think Philadelphia had the highest 5-man start this year.
And he named the enemy. He said, if my memory serves me correct, the Eagles had the most consecutive starts.
I mean, I think Philadelphia had the highest 5-man start this year, if my numbers are correct. So that's important, but that hasn't been the case for us, which is fine. But so we need to train that way.
He said that haven't been the case for us, so we got to train that way. So what is he talking about, training that way? So he basically talking about cross training. He talking about cross training. This is where, and I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. This is where you have to train your offensive linemen and prepare them for playing multiple positions. This ideal at one point was hated by the Dallas Cowboy community and fans. We hated this idea. We hated it. But see, this is why I love Mike McCarthy, because Mike McCarthy is thinking in common sense. And I did shows where I was saying we need to get away from that old thinking. Do y'all remember this show right here? Where I did a show and I said the Dallas Cowboys and fans need to divorce old offensive line theories. My boy said, I still hate flex. And I get it, because flex is not ideal. Okay? Flex is not ideal. It's not ideal. And we all agree with this. Ideally, you want an offensive lineman to gel. You want them to sit and develop in one position. But see, when you have tackles with the injury history of Tyron Smith, you have to get away from the idea of your best lineman not being flexible. You have to. You have to, in my opinion, prepare for imperfection. And the only way you do that is cross training. That's the only way. You have to set aside time for your guys to get work at multiple positions, because you never know when that could happen. Yeah. And see, this is a good point. That's why I said we go think through this together. This is exactly why I said, Trip, that we got to think this through together. He said, boss, you right 100%, but no one tells the 49ers to move Trent Williams off left tackle. And I agree with that. But see, Trent Williams also have a whole different injury history than what we have. So I can see if your offensive line was full of Zach Martins, people that hardly ever get hurt. Well, in a scenario like that, yeah, you ain't gonna do a bunch of cross training. The most important thing you gonna likely do is try to make sure your backups are ready to step in. But when you have Tyron Smith as one of the key offensive linemen going into the season, it's in our best interest to prepare for imperfection. You see what I'm saying? So for instance, I did another show. I don't know if y'all remember, but I did a whole nother show. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Y'all give me 1 second. Let me pull it up. Because see, these are conversations that we had to have before. You know what I'm saying? These are discussions that we've had to talk about before, and they keep coming back. So for instance, I did a show. I did a lot of shows on this. I'm gonna show y'all a couple of them. But this is important because we talking real football on this stuff. So I don't know if y'all remember, but I did a show where I was saying learning from Tyron Smith for Jason Peters. So in other words, I was saying it's a bad idea to go from injury prone Tyron Smith to injury prone Jason Peters and don't prepare for both to go down at any time. So I was saying with those two, with their, especially at that time, with their injury history, it was in the Dallas Cowboys' best interest to actually do what's not ideal, which is cross-training your best offensive lineman to play multiple positions. So, and that's what Mike McCarthy is talking about. That's exactly what he's talking about. Miss Baker say, loving the nonstop content boss been giving. Yeah, I got a lot of content. I still got a lot of content. I'm putting it like this, Miss Baker. I ain't even close to dropping as much as I can. Trust me, it's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to me that a lot of people not seeing and should be aware of. This also should be something that greatly impacts what we go do at 26. Because let's talk about it from this standpoint. Mike McCarthy told you that ideally, if you can build your offensive line to be stable, that's a direct correlation to wins. I'm going to say it again. If you can build your offensive line to be stable, he quoted that it is a direct correlation to wins. Y'all saying we need to take a light break. I think that's a good idea. We gonna talk about that though. Let's take a light break real quick. We gonna talk about see, you said it. See, said it. See, you said it. This year is different. See, you said it, and this is right. BPA got people blind. That's why pure BPA to me is not the move at 26. Not this year. So let me explain what I mean by that. Let's take a light break first though. Let's take a light and then we go talk about this. Ooh, man, good one, C. Good one. My boy C came off the top bunk. See, most people not seeing that, see. Ooh. So y'all make sure y'all hit that like. My boy Frank said, when I'm going to have West Coast on the show. West Coast, we can do a show at any time. It's just a matter of us getting on the phone and making it happen. You know what I'm saying? So, me and West Coast, we just need to talk and then we have. Yeah. And see, Bob said BPA definitely can blind you. It's BPA, but only at certain positions. Yeah, and see, I think there's a time for pure BPA, and then there's a time for not going with the pure BPA, best player available. So, let me tell you when I think it's the times to go pure BPA. If you are team building, right? If you're a team that's saying, We not contenders. We just trying to become a playoff team. Well, you want to stock up your team with as many good players as possible because you already know you really not a true Super Bowl contending team. So those teams, in my opinion, should be aggressive from the top of the draft to the bottom of the draft on getting the best guys. Because you're trying to get a volume of guys to help build your whole window into a contender. But then you have us, clear contender. When you are a clear contender, BPA might be a bad idea. Especially pure BPA. I ain't talking about BPA according to need. I'm talking about if you just trying to get the best player. Because if you in a contention window, sometimes you have to sacrifice pure BPA for filling the biggest need that puts you over the hump. Like for instance, there's a possibility that receiver could be one of the best pure BPAs this year at 26. There's a major possibility that could happen. But I'm telling y'all, receiver at 26 does not have the team impact that a guard or tackle would have. Not this year. Not for us. So if you're looking at the fact that we likely, regardless if Zeke come back or not, we likely are going with running back by committee. If you go with running back by committee, shouldn't you want to help that group by having a dominant left guard? Huh? I think so. We doing all this talking about protecting Dak. Shouldn't that be something in the contention window that we focus on? Because we trying to get over the hump. We not trying to build. We trying to get over the hump. This is different. So if we get a receiver for 26, where is he going to be? He's likely going to be our third receiver. Is that going to have the team impact that a quality super guard or first round graded guard or first round graded tackle would? Let's be honest. And so this is the deal. And this is a good thought. Let's talk about it though. This is a good, that's why I say we need to talk through this today. He say Steele would be the starting right tackle. Yeah, he will be the starting right tackle. But what you got to do is you got to read my graphic close. Read my Terrence Steele week 1 injury contingency plan. So it's a whole lot of people assuming that Steele is going to be ready week 1. I honestly believe that is a bad assumption. And it's a lot of people just making that assumption. Steele will be, and I'm not saying you doing this, bro. I'm just saying what a lot of people doing. You see what I'm saying? I'm not talking about you specifically. But it's a lot of people that's saying, not you, Willie. I'm not knocking you or clowning you. But it's a lot of people saying, Steele is going to be the right tackle. Yes, at some point. Yes, at some point he will. But what is the plan? What is the contingency plan for him to come back? And when you think about that, we got some problems. Houston, we got some problems. Because right now, this is what it looks like. We all know it could turn bad real quick. Real quick. Come on now. When did T. Smith go out last year in training camp? His hamstring was off his bone. Okay. So I see what you're saying. So my boy Willie T say, I'm one of those that think Steele would be ready week 1. I'm one of those who absolutely disagree. Not even kind of disagree, absolutely disagree. See, this is the deal. And it's cool to have hope. I'm cool with hope. I'm not clowning anybody that got hope, but I want all hope to be built in realism. Realism. So I started the show showing that Terrence Steele went out December 12th. December 12th. December 12th. Yeah. And remember when Tristan Hill went down? Y'all remember that? He went down in November. He didn't come back till December of the following year. See, those of y'all who are saying, I feel like Steele will be back by week 1 because they showed a video of him doing scooty scoots. Just keep in mind that Michael Gallup was injured around the same time as Steele. He didn't come back to week 4, and he was not 100%. He was still gimping around. So I like optimism, but I just don't think that optimism is cloaked in realism. And even if he can come back by week 1, do you want a rushed Terrence Steele? Do you want him back ready to play, or do you want him back 80% of himself? I want him back 95, 99%. I don't want them, we need you back by week 1, so they rushing the hell out of him. So then you run him out there like Michael Gallup, and he looking just like Michael Gallup, good but not himself. No, I don't want that. I want him healthy. So if I want him healthy, in my opinion, we should put together a plan that makes sure that he's healthy. Not no rush job. But I'm cool with optimism. I have no problem with optimism. I just want it draped in realism. Check this out.
Terrence will cross-train a little bit at guard.
I mean, we're talking about it. Yeah, we're talking about it. We haven't got in there with those guys yet. All-season program starts in April, but yeah, we're looking at all those things. I mean, you got to go. You got to pay attention. Time is it? All right,
boss. Take care.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Say hold on real quick. This always my favorite part when they ask him about Terrence Steele at guard. Watch his face.
Terrence will cross-train a little bit at guard.
I mean, we're talking.
Hey, look at his face. Hold on.
People look at your background, they think
Hold on,
about, you know.
hold on.
Yeah, we're talking about it. We haven't got.
Hold on. Look at his face. Let me make it bigger. Hold on. Look.
Terrence will cross-train a little bit at guard.
Look at his face.
I mean, we're talking.
He said Terrence Steele at guard. He said, his face said, hold on. What? Right. Man, Mike McCarthy funny. He said, like, look at his face when they ask about Terrence Steele at guard. Look.
Pace for us, which is fine, but so we need to train that way.
So Terrence will cross-train a little bit at guard.
I mean, we're talking about it. Yeah.
His face said it all. He said, yeah, we talking about it. Like, yeah, oh, okay, that must be one of the most Jerry Jones wee-woos. He done told y'all some wee-woo that I didn't count yet.
Oh, you see this guy? See this guy? Number one bullshit guy. He do the wee woo.
All right, so this is another part that I want y'all to check out, because remember what we doing is we're breaking down the tea leaves of offensive line through the eyes of Mike McCarthy. What's up, JC? So we just breaking it down through the eyes of Mike McCarthy. So hold on real quick. Because this next part is just as important. And then we go even deeper. We go break this all the way down. So y'all listen real quick. Hold on, let me set this up. I thought I already had it set up. I didn't. Y'all give me 1 second. Let me set this up. All right, here we go. All right, so listen to this one. Now, the first parts of him talking is not going to get into offensive line. He's going to get into offensive line once he gets about to the B part. And then Michael Monroe say, where's Avante Collins? Avante Collins or Avion Collins, I still don't know how to pronounce his name. Shit, I don't know what they doing with him. It don't make no sense how they've been treating him, so I don't know. I really have no idea what the game plan of what they're doing. Jay Mitch said he not drinking that Kool-Aid, it's straight Crystal Light. I know. So, but he ain't. Yeah, Mike ain't going for that. He was like, what? All right, but check this out. Now listen, this is important. The first part ain't gonna have nothing to do with offensive line, but the B part, listen closely.
The 2022, that's an.
Hold on real quick. Hold on real quick. Listen.
When people look at your background, they think about, West Coast offense, how different is this going to look? But is it really, I mean, it's kind of a fusion of the two, and is it really more maybe protections and things like that versus...
Yeah, I don't see a huge change in the run component of it, schematically, and but I think it's just like anything. If you put 3 play callers in one room and you gave them the same playbook, they're all going to call a little differently. So I think that's to be expected. I think you definitely. Second point is you have to evolve it every year, anyways. If we didn't make the change of play caller, we'd be evolving anyways. We look the way we evolved from 2020 when I recommended us run the ball back then.
Mike McCarthy's so funny. He's so funny.
To 2021, to 2022, that's an evolution you need to continue to make. So I think how we play this year will be similar to how we played last year. But yeah, protection, we definitely want to be better.
So now he's talking about protection. And now he's talking about protection. So now let's pay attention.
The area of protection, that's something we spent a ton of time on early in the process. I think anytime you can protect your quarterback better, it's helpful. So if you look at it, I think we were 68% completion percentage last year. We want to be above 70. So we're just trying to, you're always trying to improve your efficiency. So obviously the giveaways is another thing we're focused on. But so to me, those are all normal focal points in the off season, and that's where our focus has been.
People look.
So he talked about protection and focusing on protection. So now let's kind of get into the nitty gritty, right? This is where I honestly, and I'm being honest, I don't feel like I have all the answers. I think I have a good contingency plan, but I'm open. Like, this is a show to where I actually want us to talk this through. This ain't a show to where I'm coming like I got all the answers. Cause I'm gonna show y'all some things that should make this kind of hard to figure out. Ooh, see, Elp. He say, who uses protection nowadays? BPA wants to go raw. Ooh, they try to give us that HIV, dog. They try to give it to us. Dale, you said you sent me an email. I appreciate it. I'll check that email when I get off the show. I appreciate it. No, I'm playing. That's a joke. You know what I'm saying? But no, real talk though. Like, no, he talking protection, and I want to show y'all some stuff regarding protection. Let's just kind of talk about this. All right. So here we go. Let's look at some protection. I always keep protection. Always. Safe drafting. All right. I also want to let y'all know, all my Facebook people, we do have the stars on now on Facebook. So the stars are working. So for people that like the super chat, you can do that same thing now on Facebook. So if you want your comments obviously to reflect faster or want to put priority on your comments, we got the stars active. So check this out. Trey say my dad already showed me this, boss. Talk about that protection. All right, so this is the deal. One thing I always do with PFF, I ignore their grades. I don't pay attention to their grades ever on anything. They too hit or miss. I don't talk good or bad with their grades. I never talk about their grades. I never reference them as a creditable source. I never do. In terms of grading, their grades have been way too off. And yeah. So anyway. So check this out. So I'm not gonna talk about this, but I'm gonna show y'all something real quick. All right. So the first thing I'm gonna do is we go look at what was the breakdown and where was it coming from. All right. That's why we want to use. We don't want to talk about these grades. We want to just look at production. That's the only way I'm gonna trust PFF. So let me scroll over to where we can see production. All right. So here we go. So now I scrolled over. Let's look at production. This is the important stuff. Let's walk through it too. So on the left side, you can see the Dallas Cowboy blocking grades, or just the people. On the right side is the raw production. I don't care about PFF grades. I want to look at raw production to come up with a plan. So the first question I'm gonna ask y'all, if we looking at this, where was the protection breaking down? I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna just give y'all a chance to answer. Where was the protection breaking down? I want to see y'all answers too. Oh, they say move my pick. Thank you. So I just moved my pick. Where was the protection breaking down? My boy Blackwell said left side. Okay. I definitely agree. You're getting close. Holly says center. Swain said left. So I'm saying left, I'm saying center. Somebody said Tyler. Yep. Which Tyler? See Swain look. See, thank you, Jay Mitch. Thank you. Listen, forget the grades, forget the rumors. Let's just look at the production. Where is it breaking down? Yeah. See, I love it when we look at the facts. Forget what people talk. Forget about rumors. Let's just look at the facts. This is when you really using your eyes and you really looking at the. Yep, I'm seeing the answers, but I ain't saying nothing. I ain't gave my answer yet. I'm just looking at it. I'm just letting y'all look at it. I ain't even saying nothing. Yep, Jay Mitch. Ooh. See, because we finna get into this. Now we gonna talk about how to fix this. But see, alright, so now it's time to give the answer. So I'm watching all y'all answers. Let's showcase what y'all said. So Heavy said LT at 26 is common sense. Wait. It might not be common sense. We gonna talk about that. And then William Blackwell said 6'11" and 23. Yikes! He talking about Tyler Smith. Jay Mitch, he talking about Tyler Smith. He said most penalized too. Then Cowboy Gumbo is talking about tackle. You know? Then Michael Lockhart said TS, so he talking about Tyler Smith. Then Swain said Smith. C said Tyler. Michael Monroe says center guard. I don't see where you got that, bro. I just don't see where you got that. Jay Mitch said, if you looking at the data, if you saying what people say the most, you right. But if you say what you see, you wrong. My boy Jay Miss said left tackle. Cowboy Fans 95 said left guard. I don't see it. William Blackwell said Tyler Smith. Swain said Tyler Smith. So I'm going to put it like this. Most people that was looking at the data saw what I saw. If you're looking at the data, you saw what I saw. The breakdown is Tyler Smith. That's the breakdown. That is, because look at Connor McGovern. Connor McGovern only allowed 2 sacks, 7 hits, but he had 14 hurries. So that left side with him, especially when you look at him missing some games, he was trending bad. Look at Zach Martin. He over there looking like almost like no sacks given up. Only allowed 2 hits on Dak. And Dak for the whole season was only hurried 15 times. Ooh, Zach, god damn. Wait, shit. Boy, you talking about fortified. Hold on real quick. All right, let's go back because we need to look at them snaps too. Let's look at them snaps. Because see, them snaps tell a whole lot of story too. Hold on real quick. Let me go back. See, that's why I say we go walk through this together, man. We talking real football today. We ain't doing that wee-woo stuff. And then Zach Martin did that with 1,200 snaps. Ooh, see, this is why I love you, bro. See, this is why I love you, bro. He says, leave Smith at left tackle. Damn it! Ooh, see, some of y'all. Oh, wait. I'm gonna come back to what she said. Whoo-wee. So we looking at the amount of snaps. So let's keep in mind now. Zach Martin had, and I feel you on that push, Montana. We'll talk about that. But remember, when we looking at the sacks, the pressures, and the hurries, keep in mind, not all of these guys are graded equal. Okay? Because Connor McGovern, Zach Martin, and Tyler, and the other Tyler all had an epic amount of snaps last year. So we can't even just look at the raw outcomes like we was doing, right? If you just look at the raw outcomes, right? Hold on, let me go back. Let me just go. Oh, I thought I was showing it. Shit, I wasn't showing it. My fault. I thought I was showing it. My fault. But this is the deal. Looking at these raw numbers. Now, keep in mind, some of these people have way more snaps. All right. So I'm gonna get into what C said. Now let's talk about it. Now let's get into the nitty gritty. That's why I didn't want to feed y'all what I think. I wanted y'all to look at it and tell me what you think. Because if you looking at this like I'm looking at this, this hurts my idea. I'm keeping it real. This hurts greatly my ideal. My ideal of drafting a left tackle. Because see, let's look at this. It's clear, if we look at this, that the two biggest breakdowns, in my opinion, is Tyler Smith. I would also add Tyron Smith as well. But see, let's also think about Tyler Smith. Did they really help Tyler Smith? I say no. So why? Because they gave him nothing but guard reps the entire training camp. Then they threw him out there and said, save us and save Dak. Yeah, and Trey, you're right. Tyler also had reps at tackle during the season. And guard reps, I agree. So this is the issue with what C was saying. This is why C raising a good point when he say leave Smith at left tackle. Let's talk about that. Because if you leave Smith at left tackle, this is why what C saying could make the most sense. Because if you leave Tyler Smith at left tackle, when do players usually make their biggest gains? From year 1 to year 2. So if you leave him at left tackle, you going with C's theory, which is basically saying the left tackle will improve just with you leaving him at the place where he eventually began to get his legs. And it's a reasonable expectation that left tackle will fix itself just by allowing Tyler Smith to mature and making sure this year he get training camp left tackle reps. That's what C talking about. Good thinking, C. I love it. I love it, C. I love it. But then this is the problem. I do see a problem though. How long have we been trying to fix left guard? Because when I keeping it real, to me it looked like we do a way better job of fixing tackles than guards. I don't know why, but that left guard has been a nuisance since Leary left. Am I lying? Am I lying? That left guard has been a nuisance. I would say since 2016. Because was Connor Williams ever an answer? Yeah, Jay Mitch, I said the same thing. He said since run. Right. Since Leary left, we have not had a quality left guard. Yeah. Like, I ain't gonna say a quality. We haven't had a dominating left guard. So, if you want, in my opinion, see, that's why this one is hard. See, this one ain't easy. See, we gonna walk through this too. We gonna walk through the tea leaves on this. This one ain't easy, see, because see, you right. If you want to improve the offensive line, it says draft a guard. Because it's a good assumption to C's point. It's a good assumption to C's point that just leaving Tyler Smith alone and giving him proper reps in training camp is going to have him better. I like this. My boy say, love your channel, bro. 100% wee woo free. I know, bro. We don't do the wee woo over here. No, we don't do wee woo. Yeah, he said online upgrade would change the mad. Tyler Smith was getting Dak elfed. Yeah, but then it was also their fault because at first they was not cross training him. Because a lot of people leave him there, leave him at guard. I remember having this debate. I had this debate a lot going into the season. I was saying they need to cross train Tyler now. No, boss, let him stay there. Let him, come on, boss. And then He had to be thrown out there to left tackle because of some of y'all bad idea. We wasn't divorcing that badass idea of never cross-train offensive linemen. And then you throw Tyler Smith out there and act surprised when he struggles a little bit. So this is the other part. This is another way to look at it. This is why I'm saying I'm trying to figure this out, because I promise you I don't think I'm leaning in a certain direction, but I want to go through it with y'all to make sure I ain't tripping. So going back and looking at now this is the deal for everybody, and I'm gonna just ask this question. All right, let's just keep it real too. Woo! I see. I'm liking what y'all saying. I'm loving it. My boy Jay Miss say, unless this left tackle is going to be all pro, generational, Hall of Fame-ish, leave Smith at left tackle. See, to me, there's no way you can look at this data and not come up with that same conclusion. What Jay Mitch and C saying. Just keep it real. If you look at this, there's no way you could come out and say, it's going to take a lot to move him off a left tackle. Because the team gets so much better, so much faster with a stable left tackle. So, but let's talk about this. When we talked about Leary, right? Y'all remember we talked about Leary. Let's just kind of play with this a little bit. All right, just thinking out loud. So y'all already know I've been talking about tackle for left tackle at 26, and we gonna talk about that even more. We gonna get into the details on this. So check this out. This is what makes this whole debate hard. Because if you, and let me say, there are some tackles that has some potential all pro-ish, Hall of Fame-ish upside. DeJuan Jones being one. Now, so just imagine, I'm gonna be listening to y'all as we go through this. I'm gonna even take calls on this. We're gonna take our time on this. But see, DeJuan Jones is 6'8", 360. Now, and let's just play this game. If we drafted a DeJuan Jones, right, but we didn't treat him like we did Tyler, where we had Tyler get nothing but left guard reps. But let's say this time we had DeJuan Jones getting nothing but left tackle reps, and Tyler Smith getting nothing but left guard reps. Is there a possibility that we could be better? And this is why. If you draft like this, you have a chance. You have a chance of doing what Mike McCarthy said. Remember, he said, the more you able to stabilize your line, it's a direct correlation to wins. So this is where basically you plant a DeJuan Jones at left tackle. You rep the hell out of him at left tackle. You rep the hell out of Tyler Smith at left guard. And you rep the hell out of everybody at the position that you want to stabilize. But then also Broderick Jones. And I'm going to tell y'all, out of everybody, to me, Broderick Jones is the safest, smartest pick at 26. Because first of all, he's a left side player just like Tyler Smith. He played left tackle and left guard, and he has starter grade all pro potential. He's mean, physical, have the best tape. I ain't gonna say best tape, but really good tape of SEC pass rushers. So he went against all the guys right now that's top rated as pass rushers. Big game pedigree. And he can play left tackle and left guard. So if you decided leave Tyler at left tackle, he could move into left guard with no problems. Like, with no problems. So it would come down to, keeping it real, if Broderick Jones end up being the pick, which guy do you trust more at that left tackle? That's what it would come down to. I would also tell y'all this. Broderick Jones is more athletic than Tyler Smith. But Tyler Smith is stronger freakishly than Broderick Jones, in my opinion. So let's go through this, right? Because I want to go through this a little bit more. Because this is what it comes down to, in my opinion. I really want y'all to hear me out. What this comes down to, in my opinion, is who at 26 makes the most sense. And and what my boy Trey said, exactly, Tyler Smith is a true guard. I see it the same way. I say Tyler Smith, in my opinion, has Zach Martin-ish potential. And so for all of us who've been saying we haven't witnessed a dominant left guard run blocker, yeah, this is a good thought. We talked about this too before. This thought right here, we talked about this thought of Avion Collins and Matt Farniok at left guard. Yeah, I like it. But this is the issue. I'm trying to be dominant at this offensive line. You with me? You see what I'm saying? We have a chance for dominance. We have a chance to and also we talking about extending Dak. If you extending Dak, shit, protect him. Protect him. Get these guys in here that can be your tackles and guards for the next 10 years. And I mean that. But I like the plan. I do. As a plan that will get us through the season, I like that plan. Rags. You know what I mean? But I feel like with a contention window, hold on. In the contention window, and I'm looking at the rich getting richer. What do I mean? San Fran already had a killer interior, Rags. A killer interior. They added Hargraves. So for those of us who trying to get over the hump, how you go match that? Do you want Hargraves going against Collins and Farniok? They might hold up, but who's going to give you more confidence? And this is a very good question right here. I like this one, James. Me and the OC talked about this behind the scenes. He said, will moving Tyler destroy his confidence? I say no. This is the fortunate part about him playing left guard, right? Right now, he is still young and willing to do whatever the team need. But see, once he start getting some what they call skins on the wall, where let's say if he play tackle and then he becomes a Pro Bowler, now he gonna start counting his money. Like, oh, y'all trying to move me out the money position? How about hell no?
Oh, hell no.
So if we go do it, James, we would need to do it now, where he the young buck. Because by next year, likely when Tyler Smith take off, you ain't gonna be, he gonna be just like cause see a young Zach Martin, he would have been willing to do whatever. Right? If they put him at right guard, he like, cool. Put him at tackle, cool. But once Zach Martin really got to rolling, Zach Martin was like, man, I ain't trying to move out of right guard. He bitched and moaned every time anybody talked about him playing anything outside of guard. So to me, and this is a very good comment, the best time to even play with this would be now. After this year, it's likely gonna be too late, cause he gonna be a bona fide established pro, in my opinion, by next year. And I'm talking about top. I'm talking about top 5, definitely top 10. He got a potential for top 6, 7 at left tackle. He definitely got potential to be top 3 at left guard. You know. So if we was to do this and get him to buy into it, it would have to be now. That's also why, James, very good comment too, very good. That's why I also like DeJuan Jones. I like DeJuan Jones because DeJuan Jones is so freakishly big, 6'8", 360, right? He is the type of freak that could have Tyler say, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? It's some people, when big Tyler Smith looking up at you, right? Then I can see him saying, yeah, okay, I understand. I'm gonna move on inside. But that would set us up for years. Not even just this contention window. We would be set up for years. So let's talk about this. This is the other part that a lot of people are not talking about. That you go hear on this channel, but you not go hear in a lot of different places. Let me pull it up. This right here. I'm gonna do it different this time too. I'm gonna do it different. Yeah. And see, listen, this is real. This is real. Yeah. This is real. He say Tyler Smith knows the money is at left tackle. He does know that. I agree. That's why I'm saying, Jay, if you go do it, you better do it now. You better do it now. If you go do it, because he ain't even want to do it if you wait till next year. But see, this is the problem. If you've been keeping up, you can clearly see that we have some offensive line major issues for the start of the season, right? Some people believe that Terrence Steele is going to be ready to go 100%, no issues by week 1. I don't believe that. I don't. I also believe that it wouldn't even take much for us to be in a very ugly emergency situation. And I'm talking about very ugly, not a little bit ugly, very ugly. It wouldn't take that much, right? So going back to what my boy C said, my boy C said, which I understand. Now we finna get down to how to fix this. There's no way you can look at the PFF, right? Look at Tyler Smith and not come to the conclusion that C did. That for the team, it could be best to just let Tyler stay at left tackle. There's no way you can look at where the breakdown was on our offensive line with the 23 hurries with 11 hits on deck, 11 hits and 6 sacks, and not say, okay, let's let him improve at that left tackle position to improve our overall offensive line. So if you're thinking like that, that then says what? My boy Marcus, I believe we should double dip on offensive line in the draft. I would say priority. I think we need to go, hopefully, round 1 or round 2. This division of a super offensive line is over by the time we get to round 3. It's for the most part over. And I'm talking about trying to get a super offensive line. So when you look at this list, right, which is the CBS ranks, when you look at this list, the problem is it's not too many guards that even have a rank around 26. That's the problem. So if you have the thought that we need to leave Tyler at left tackle, then your best chance at having a dominating offensive line is hoping that Osiris is going to be there at 26. That's taking a big gamble. Because for the most part, in most people's opinions, he one of the few clear first round guards. So we talking about one. But then if you go look at TCU, right? A lot of people talking about Steve, right? Around 50. And so this is the question you got to ask yourself. If we trying to do like what Mike McCarthy said, right? And so like if we trying to do like what Mike McCarthy said and get the best 5 offensive line to stabilize and try to get them to become stable. So let's think this through with C's plan. We go leave Tyler Smith at left tackle. We're going to draft us Osiris, Steve, John Mitchell, which is another starter grade left guard. So now, if you do that, you're not meeting strength on strength in terms of Hargraves versus a left guard, but you at least got you a starter grade left guard. Whether it's Steve, Mitchell, or Osiris. But does anybody see the problem that we likely looking at only around 3 potential? Like, it's people that tell you it's guards that can start. I don't want a guard that can start only. I want, keeping it real, what I want is a dominant offensive line. Connor Williams could start, but we all know and so this is the deal with, and then like, I would like Steve too, but are you willing? Because listen, if we go with C's plan, this is what we say, and I don't have nothing wrong with this too. I don't see nothing wrong with this. And anybody else who want to keep Tyron Smith at left tackle, you know what that's saying to me? Just keeping it real. This needs to be a Fredericks draft. A Fredericks draft. See, because what happened with Frederick, and I'm keeping it real, what happened with Frederick is it was a run on centers. Frederick himself thought and said, I was surprised the Dallas Cowboys drafted me when they did. He said that himself. But the Cowboys had to, because it was a run on offensive linemen and centers, and Frederick was the best thing left. So what does this have to do with guard? When you look at guard and you look at the CBS board, right? And you look and you say, so according to CBS, there are about 4 guards that could go in the first 2 rounds, and then we basically can get a starter, but the vision of having a dominant offensive line is likely gone. Or do you focus on one of these tackles where there are a lot of first round graded tackles? And we not gonna just look at the CBS this time. We gonna look at other ones too. I'm gonna show y'all I'm not using CBS to be biased. All right. So if we look at the CBS board, Peter Sharonsky, first round, 1. Paris Johnson, 2. Then Anton Harrison, 3. Broderick Jones, 4. DeJuan Jones, 5. Matthew Burgon, 6. So you got 6 tackles, according to CBS, that you could get at 26. And some of these guys, like Matthew Burgon, you could draft him. You could draft him because he's also a left side player, like Broderick Jones, who could also play your guard. He could play your left guard, and he could leave Tyler Smith at left tackle. But to see, this is my dilemma. If you go get Steve, according to CBS, you reaching. And so, my boy, so this is the deal. C, are you saying get Steve at 26? Because I wouldn't be mad at that. If we got Steve at 26, let's say Osiris, if Osiris is gone, right? Or some of the people got Steve over Osiris, the guard. If any one of them get away, basically C is saying get the remaining guard. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. I would actually like that. So what scenario would make us have to get one of these tackles? It would be if it was a run on guard. And this is the thing. It don't take much for it to be a run. It's not too many ranked up there. And I agree with you. And see, this is what people go say. And I don't care that they say it. I don't care that they say it. They go say, that's a reach. I'ma say, shut up. Whoever called, if we end up getting Steve at 26 and people start talking about reaching, I'ma say be quiet. Just be quiet. Because those of us who really been paying attention, really looking at this clear, that it wasn't that many quality guards in the first place. When I say, I'm not saying starter grade, because there are many guards that can start, but I'm talking about that can actually transform potentially your offensive line to domination. And we have an opportunity to dominate. Which one of these give us that best opportunity? And I'm going to tell you right now, in my opinion, keeping it real, if we get there and we sitting at 26 and Broderick Jones is sitting right there, or Steve, give me Broderick Jones all day. Oh, see, somebody already asked this question. See, that's why I said we need to think this. He said, boss, who you taking, Broderick or Steve? I'm taking Broderick Jones all day. And I would literally spit on Steve. Obviously, that's graphic, but I'm just making a very dramatic point. Because you're getting a whole lot more with Broderick Jones. With Broderick Jones, you are getting a guard / tackle. With Steve, you getting a guard / center. You getting with Broderick Jones a perfect fit. With Steve, you getting a good fit. Does anybody have a problem with what I just said? Yeah. Very, very good. I like this. My boy Jay Mitch say, only the first 18 to 20 picks are truly considered having first round grades. So being at 26, yeah, good point. So you know what this comes down to, Jay? Your board. You know what I mean? It comes down to, how do the Cowboys see the differences in talent? Yeah, I like Voorhees. He said, boss, you're not high on or mock Voorhees. Yeah, I like Voorhees. Yeah, I got Voorhees in my book. You know, so he made the Boss Cowboy Guide. But check this out. Just kind of thinking this through. I think that's what it comes down to, Jay. The board. The Dallas Cowboy board. So now let's play this game again. I want to play this game. So who y'all ask me, I'm gonna ask y'all. So let's play the what if game. Osiris, he gone. He's gone. Another team picked him up. All right. Yeah. I know about Maffa. I know Maffa is there as well. So hold on. Let's take a look at Maffa. All right. So let's see where CBS got it. He 157. So at 157, that's giving him around a 4th round grade. Not saying that he won't come in and be a dominant starter, because the scouting community get it wrong all the time, right? I like Maffa too. Matter of fact, I had Maffa on the cover of yesterday's thumbnail. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all saw that show, but yeah, I like Maffa too. So, but with him being ranked where he is by CBS and most, the Cowboys likely not go get him or look at him to round 3 before they even start looking at him. And it's also risky with Maffa because in a guard class that's slimming down, he becomes the blinking light by the time you get to round 3. He becomes the guy you have to get, which is then taking a risk for the Dallas Cowboys to trust that he's going to be there by the time they make their 3rd pick. So I like him, but it would be a situation where we would likely have to reach. But let me ask y'all a question. To stabilize that guard position, we would have to reach. And I don't mind reaching. I had no problem with that. Get your guy. I don't care about others' opinion. Go get your guy. But let me ask y'all a question. I really want to get answers too. I want to get y'all answers. And before we get into this, let's go through a couple of different scenarios. But I'm going to ask y'all a question first. First, I'm going to ask this question. If you get to 26 and Steve is on the board, and Broderick Jones on the board, who you going with? I want to know from y'all. Everybody got to participate too. Broderick Jones or Steve. This is the problem with Broderick Jones, though, because I'm going to be honest with you. See, the problem with Broderick Jones, yeah, so most people saying Jones. If you move to the left tackle, you're running the risk of having a rookie protecting Dak. That's the problem. That's the only problem I see. He the best because he's hybrid. All right, so unanimously, I see most of y'all. My boy David said, I can't pick. David, no, you got to pick, bro. I'm sorry. You are in the war room. We need you to make this pick. See, and that's why we doing this. You know what I'm saying? We doing this because we need y'all to actually pretend that you are the Joneses. You actually got to make this decision. You know what I'm saying? I think this is a very fair game. Hold on. Why is hold on real quick. Y'all give me 1 second. My stuff not working. All right. So overwhelmingly, I'm seeing most people say Jones. All right, let's keep playing. Let's keep playing this game. Yeah. My boy Black will say, he said, boss, I trust Duke and the D-line to have whoever ready and tested. I don't quite trust everything about the offensive line because, remember, in my opinion, we've been still trying to find a replacement for Leary for some time now. I trust Duke with tackle. Like, if we get a tackle, I trust Duke up and down, period. I trust Duke and the Dallas Cowboys. All right, so here we go. So most people said, now let's keep playing. DeJuan Jones is sitting there. I'm going to make this one hard. Ooh, I'm going to make this one hard. DeJuan Jones is sitting there with Osiris Torrance. Ooh, what y'all gonna do? What you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You got Osiris, and a lot of people. See, the crazy thing about Osiris is his grades are all over the place. I'm gonna show y'all something, but so you got Osiris. And you got Jones. Hold on real quick. I'm waiting. Somebody said, dang, no, you gotta answer. And my boy Trey say Torrance got slow feet. All right, so what's your pick? Turn in your card. What's your pick? You sitting there, wiped out, and you got 2 options left. You got Broderick. You got DeJuan Jones. Or you got what some would consider the best guard in the class. I'm like it. He said, gotta go with Jones because it would allow Tyler to move the guard. Ooh. No. We're not doing. We already did Broderick Jones. We did Broderick Jones. That was the last one. Yeah, no, you actually talking about it all. I needed to reread. Andre say Broderick Jones has a better dancing shoes than Tyler. I agree. But the one dwarfs them both with raw power. I agree. Osiris ain't edgy enough for me. So what's your pick, dog? So I'm assuming that's the one. Damn. So it looked like the. Hold on. Wait. I'm trying to see y'all answers on this. I'm waiting. See, this is interesting. This is very interesting to see y'all work this through. This is interesting. So, Osiris. Ooh, wait. You shocking me on this one. My boy Jay Mitch, he say the one because Tyler's better guard than Torrance. Ooh, see, that's what I said, dog. That's what I said. That's what I said. See, but this is. All right, let's keep playing this game. Cause the one so far, this is exciting to see because y'all really helping me with this. I swear to God, y'all helping me with this. So far, the tackles are winning the debate. So far, we gonna give you some more scenarios where it can get hard. We gonna give you some more scenarios where it can get hard. But shockingly, I'm leaning the same way y'all leaning. Broderick Jones, if he there, you got to get him over the guards. To me, if DeJuan Jones is there, you got to get him over the guards. I'm sorry. That's how I see it too. That's exactly how I see it. But see, I didn't say nothing. I want to see how. Oh, somebody said Osiris. We got to say Osiris vote. Okay, cool. We got us one, and that's cool. That's cool. Like these are not easy. I would celebrate it. I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be like, damn, we passed on Jones. I'd be like, all right, we good. Let's go. Hopefully, Osiris is Leary or better. Ooh-wee. All right, so here we go. Let's keep playing this game. All right, let's keep playing this game. All right. This is getting ready to get interesting. Now we finna make this hard. Matthew Bergeron or Osiris. Now, Osiris is a left guard. Matthew Bergeron is a left guard and left tackle. So he has position flex already built in. Just letting y'all know that. For those who trying to figure this out. Another thing that I want to show y'all too is that these draft ranks are all over the place. Some of them, right? Some of them is unanimous. But like for instance, this NFLDraftBuzz.com, you look at where they got Osiris. They got Osiris ranked 24th, which is good, which is right around. So most people saying, "Ooh, I'm seeing the fight." I see Montana said Osiris. See, this was a good one. I see. Okay, Matthew flex guy, Matthew Osiris, Torres, Osiris. So Osiris is winning this one. Osiris is winning this one. I will go with Matthew. I will go with Matthew. Well, shit. Now I'm going with Osiris. I'm turning into Osiris card. Man, this is a hard one because both of them dudes. Ooh. See, this is hard, bro. This one is a hard one. See, you get flex with Matthew. You get left guard and left tackle flex. And remember, that's what Mike McCarthy was talking about. He was talking about in the 17-game season, you want guys who can play multiple positions. I knew you was going to say this, Q. My boy Q say Steve. Yeah. He high on Steve, and I ain't mad at that. All right, let's play one more of these games, and then I'm going to get on the phone. Sorry about that, y'all. I didn't mean to make this a marathon show, but it ended up being like that. Because this one is not an easy one to go through. Yeah, and then somebody say, and I'm liking it because see, that's why I say I need help thinking through this stuff. Like he said, ultimately, I think they take Matthew through the flex. Yeah, I could see that too, especially what Mike McCarthy said, and then my boy C say Steve all day. Yeah, see, ooh, the fights in here is real. All right. So this is what I want to show y'all. So, just real quick, if you look at Osiris, and this is a good sign. Osiris is ranked 23 on CBS. Then you go to Draft Buzz, he's 24th, right? Antoine Harris, the tackle, he's ranked 26 by CBS. He's ranked 25 by Draft Buzz. What's the point? The point is I like players to where the grade on them from different sources is right around the same. That's important because that means a whole lot of different people with different eyes are seeing it around the same. So this is the problem. See, Nolan, like for example, Nolan Smith, see on Draft Buzz, he is ranked 21. But if you go to CBS got Nolan Smith. Shit, where Nolan at? Hold on real quick. Let me do my search. 32. See, that's a pretty big swing in opinions. You see what I'm saying? That's a pretty big swing in opinions. So if you look at, if you're trying to say, okay, which other guys that I want to try to make sure we can get if they're there at 26, you could feel good with Osiris. You could feel good on Anton. DeJuan Jones, you could feel good about him because he is also graded around the same. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I want to show more than just one. So on the CBS, DeJuan Jones is ranked around 36, but NFL Draft Buzz, he's 35. That means you have a good chance of getting him. Where's Steve? Let me find Steve. Hold on real quick. Man, y'all give me 1 second. Man, they got Steve 64. Y'all see the problem? It's not, and don't listen. This is not saying he not first round talent. This is not saying he might be the best guard. Yep. I agree with this, coach. Coach say, boss, the key is what the offensive line coach covers. Osiris is a formidable guard. Steve and Matt gives flex and can move with power. No, I agree. But see, this is the thing. If we got Steve at 26, according to these two rankings, it's two separate sources all calling Steve a reach. That does not mean that he will not be the best player, though. See, I want to be clear on that. Because, see, last year, Tyler Smith was considered the 5th best tackle. After the season played out, he ended up being the best tackle when they did a redraft. So I'm not looking, don't look at these ranks to say if a player is good or not. These ranks are more so about what's your chance of getting them at a particular round. That's how to look at these ranks. So if you like Steve, you might like Steve, but picking him at 26 might be a bad idea because by most people's opinion, he's he has a safer chance of being there. It's almost like CeeDee Lamb to Diggs. When the Dallas Cowboys are looking at CeeDee Lamb versus Diggs, they had Diggs with the exact same score as CeeDee Lamb. But they chose CeeDee Lamb because it was pretty obvious that CeeDee Lamb had no chance of making it to the second round. Diggs had a long shot, but he ended up making it. You know? So if I was to take a gamble, and so this is, let me say it like this too. Let's say if the Dallas Cowboys did pick receiver in round 1, just throwing out something, right? Because it looked like they looking at receiver real heavy. If they picked receiver, that means likely they have to go guard round 2. Because if you don't, you likely go be wiped out. Yeah, and I agree. See, now this is real. Let's talk about this, Coach. Coach said, "Boss, I see what's going on. Osiris is getting a boost from playing in the SEC. Steve, the Big 12, which is fair, but Steve showed up." And I agree. See, and that's real. Because, see, the thing about Osiris is he has pretty good tape against Carter. You know what I mean? And none of us could deny Carter's talent. You know what I mean? So when I can see on tape that Osiris held up pretty well. Yes, Carter won him some reps, but for the most part, Osiris showed that he is good against a top 5 defensive tackle. So that's super hard to ignore. So let's look at this. Let's look at another list. So because a lot of people, I don't want to, and then Coach Mar say, I like the UCLA guard more. And see, this is the deal. And this happens. And guess what? Coach Marv's eyes could be 100% right? But when we trying to draft these guys, you have to, I ain't talking to you necessarily, Coach, but the thing is, yeah, see, and this is the thing, check this out. He said, if DeWan don't lose weight, he got Alex Leatherwood written all over him. I don't know. Because, see, that weight is also mixed with freakish height. You know what I'm saying? And he played basketball in in high school, you know? So, to me, it would be about, kicking his tires, right? I would have to kick his tires, really do a super deep psychoanalyst job on him. But I feel good about any one of the tackles because this is the deal. If you get any one of these tackles, you putting a good talent in a veteran room. A very veteran room. You know what I'm saying? But going back to what I was saying with the UCLA guard, Maffa, right? So if you look at Maffa, it's not about is he better than Steve or is he better than this guy or that guy. It's more so about if you like him, what's the best round to try to target him? My boy C say, I'm scared, boss. I'm with you on that too, C. I'm with you. Some of these balls are one hamburger away. But let me go back though to this real quick, just looking at the ranks. So now we want to look at where Osiris is ranked on here. So remember, Osiris was ranked around 23, right? So right now they got Broderick Jones ranked at 24. It looked like, according to the ESPN best available, Osiris is not as high, but he's 36. That's not bad. That's within range of 26, you know? But isn't it funny that Draft Buzz could have Osiris 24, CBS has Osiris 23, and ESPN has Osiris 36, which is going to Jay Mitch's point, which is pretty much the ranks between or after the top 20, they gonna be all over the place. Just being real. They gonna be all over the place. That's why it's important for you to know what you believe and who you believe in. But see, this is a good thing for Anton Harris, though. So if you look at Antoine Harris, and we just trying to get a feel of what could be the most consistent. So here we go. So let's go look real quick at Anton Harris, right? So Anton Harris, he's 25th on Draft Buzz. Antoine Harris is 26 on CBS, and Antoine Harrison is 29 on ESPN ranks. So out of all the players, if I'm trying to get a feel of who is likely going to be there at 26 and who also from multiple sources are getting the same type of grades without a bunch of crazy swings right now, that would be Anton Harrison, right around 26. You could also say the same thing with Darnell Wright. So let's take some calls real quick. I'm gonna open up the phone lines. So we got the phone lines open. I want to kind of talk through this real quick, kind of really take our time and really talk through this. I want to really talk through this. So we opening up the phone lines. We got the phone lines open. Let's call in, man. Y'all call in. Y'all talk to me, man. You say Dalton Kincaid at 26? Oh, man. Hell no. I'll be so damn mad. So we got the phone lines open, man. Y'all don't take too long. If y'all go call in, call in. If y'all not, I'm going to get off. See, y'all playing too much. See, why y'all doing this Kincaid stuff? See, y'all playing too much. Oh man, nah, we ain't doing no Kincaid. If we did Kincaid, I would go crazy. I would lose my whole mind. I promise you I would. I promise you. Cause here we go. Coach.
What's up, boss? How you doing, sir?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good. Man, I love this argument, man.
This is a good one.
It's almost like what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah, this is a good one.
But Coach Marv, I think he brings up a good point. If I'm the Cowboys, if I knew I can get Murphy in the third or fourth, that'd be awesome. Because then I can allocate my other resources to something else in the first and second. But if I couldn't, if I didn't know I can get Murphy, then just why take the chance and get Steve Avila or one of them tackles that we've been talking about? But it really depends, like I said in my statement before, on the O-line coach. Does he cover movement, or does he cover more power movement? Every coach is different, and we just don't know. And I tried to look at some of his lines before, and he has his lines pulling. And so to me, I think the a smoke screen.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because, I even went back, to talk to my uncle who coached in the league and coached against him, and he even told me that he has always covered the movement, guys that can pull and get people out the way. So, if we are looking for a lineman, if they have bad feet, he's not going to pick him because his history is not doing so.
That mean Osiris out.
Yeah. If you just look at his history, even if you look at his last stop, the offensive linemen that they drafted, all them guys can move. All them got really good feet.
Right.
And so, like Osiris, if they picked him, that's not his call. That was somebody else's call. That wouldn't be the line coach. That's not his history. Then if you look at the head coach, think about McCarthy. McCarthy at Green Bay, his guy was always pulling. So your head coach pull, your offensive line coach pull. Oh, by the way, your offensive coordinator does a lot of pulling too. So the three guys that's in charge of the running game all believe in
pulling
movement in your linemen. So any linemen that y'all are looking at that have bad feet, you should also go for tight ends. If tight ends can't position block, if you look at the tight ends that our offensive coordinator had and our O-line coach had, these tight ends were able to position block, which means moving your feet. So if they're looking at tight ends, Just don't look at them catching. Look if they can position block. That's how we want them guys to do. That's why all of us, including the boss, was fussing about Dr. Schultz, because he could not position block.
Right.
And with these two rookies, especially Hendershot is light in the butt, but he position blocked his butt off. That's why he was a fan's favorite. Not because he caught the ball, but because he did the dirty work.
Yeah.
So what you want to do, guys, for tight ends, the Cowboys have shown you, hey, you want guys that have a little wiggle, but have that dog in them to block.
So, Coach, and I want y'all to know, this guy played offensive line his whole life, and he coaches offensive line. And he just... So this is a very good person to kind of go back and forth with on this. Based on what I presented today, who would probably be your most ideal pick at 26?
So if it's me, it depends on which tackle is there at 26. If the tackle that I covered that I think can start, like when I say start, I'm talking about being an impact player. I talked about this in Twitter. You're gonna have some players that can start, but you want a player like Smith that we got last year that can be an impact player.
Right.
Steve, if he's gone, then Steve Avila. The reason why, boss, is because Steve Avila have shown that he can play just as dominant as a center.
Yeah.
Which give no offense, Cowboy, the flexibility that, hey, if in a year I don't want to pay the center, I have a dominant center that can move in that spot.
Right.
And so that's me. But my number one pick would be to get a tackle if my tackle is there. Preferably Jones. I like the Jones kid.
Broderick Jones
but if he's
or
gone,
DeJuan Jones?
DeJuan Jones.
Wow.
DeJuan Jones.
Woo!
Broderick, tell me if you flip the coin, I'm not going to be crying.
Yeah, me neither.
Another Jones boy.
Me neither, bro.
I'm not going to be like,
I'm not going to cry.
What you doing?
Yeah.
But
forgive me for being so
surprised.
surprised, bro. But I thought you was going to say opposite. This gives me you giving me a lot of confidence right now. First of all, because you played the position, you coached the position, you know what I mean? And I see it just like you. If Steve's sitting there, DeJuan sitting there, and Broderick sitting there, go DeJuan, go Broderick, or go Steve.
So the reason why I say DeJuan is because of McCarthy. McCarthy loves size. He believes you can't teach size. And I agree with him. You cannot teach 6'8", 359.
No.
And one thing that DeJuan Jones have proven, he knows how to use his hands, which Tyler Smith did not. DeJuan Jones knows, you know what? I know how to use my hands on these speed guys. He has proven that. That speed don't bother, and I like the fact that he don't get nervous. A lot of times, big guys, like what's his name, the left tackle from Philadelphia, when he first became a left tackle, he was getting beat all the time because he was not comfortable with his feet. DeJuan Jones is comfortable with his feet and shows with his hands. So for me, DeJuan Jones is the best fit of size and using his hands. To me. And so that's why I would go there, because it fits what the head coach likes. He likes size and he likes power. And so can you imagine having DeJuan Jones and Smith on the same side?
Wait!
Listen,
I would lose my whole mind, bro. I promise you I would.
dude,
I would.
I'm telling you. And
I would lose
fans, we have to realize, I don't want to say this, I don't want to speak this into existence. It's highly likely that Philadelphia get another Georgia boy. And if they get another Georgia boy, and you know who I'm talking about, if Philadelphia get Carter to go with Davis, you're gonna need some more power.
Yep.
I'm just you have to think about who's in your division.
Coach.
We have two gangster tackles with the Redskins. What's up?
We got a good question. J. Rod said, "The one weight don't scare y'all."
Oh, I'm glad he brought that up. If y'all remember, Tyler Smith came in here.
Yep.
And what did our team do? Knock down 20 pounds?
Yep, you did. You did.
We have one of the best strength and conditioning coach in the league.
In the
It's a
league.
fact.
I would say probably the
And
best.
so, J-Rod, you are 100% correct.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah.
He is heavy at 359, but our strength and conditioning staff have proven. Oh, Bahana, the dude has lost 50 pounds. Y'all remember he was 378, and the dude is like what 330, boss now.
Man, yeah.
Bahana.
Yeah.
So our strength and conditioning coach have shown.
Proved.
You can bring them fat boys in.
Yep.
I get them right.
Yep. Hold on real quick. Let me see if I can find these before and after pictures. But I ain't worried about no weight, especially when I saw what they did with Tyler Smith. Let me hold on real quick.
Yes.
I'm gonna find it. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Boss, even no, it was two guys. Even Widgeway, he trimmed down Widgeway. It kind of pissed me off because he went to the Redskins. Look what he's doing. I mean, but our strength and conditioning coach, he's really, really good at getting these guys in and trimming them down their first year and their second year.
Yeah, I ain't worried about it. Oh man, give me 1 sec. I gotta find this. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna find it too, cause I remember it was after training camp. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna find it. Cause a picture go tell it better than.
Yes.
Oh, here it is. No, it ain't. I thought that was it. Hold on. Cause I did a whole show on it. Give me 1 second. Because it was, I remember it was around a time I was afraid of Tyler Smith being thrown out there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at the psychological makeup of Tyler Smith. I remember that. Hold on, Mama. I know I got it right around here. Here it is.
And guys, and y'all also have to remember that if you go and look at DeJuan Jones' weight at Ohio State and what he checked in at the combine, he lost 20 pounds. That shows me
discipline,
that he has the mental capacity to get it right. Because another guy, Carter, didn't have the mental capacity to do good on his pro day. Think about that.
Exact.
It's hard to lose weight.
It is. It's hard to lose weight. Hard. Hey, I got the before and after pictures. All right. So So I'm showing a thumbnail, coach. You know what I'm saying? You can just look at the thumbnail from when they drafted him to when it was about 2 weeks from him playing.
I'm telling you.
This is what Tyler looked like when they first drafted him.
Yep.
This is what Tyler looked at when it was time to play Tampa.
Look at that chin. I'm telling you.
Went from super chin to no chin. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you.
Why would I? And then Tyler, coach, what's your thoughts on this?
Look at his arms. Look at his arms.
I know.
It's different. I'm telling you.
What? I ain't worried about no weight at all. You know, I ain't worried about it because I feel like this, coach. I want to get your thoughts on this as a coach. I feel like when you get a guy, right? Let's say if you got a DeJuan Jones, right? If you get a guy, but you put him in a room of vets, right? Tyron Smith, Zach Martin. Now, Tyler Smith is now your example. So when if you come in and they say
it's an interview that Jane had with Tyler. He said when he saw Tyron and he saw Martin and he saw Steele, he said he can be the only one with the belly. That's exactly what he said.
Ooh.
That's exactly what he said to Jane.
What he said? Can you say that one more time, coach? One more time.
Dude. So James Slater was talking to Tyler, and Tyler said that when he saw Tyron, and he saw Steele, and he saw Martin, and he saw, I gotta get in their group, and he saw, hey, I couldn't be the only guy with the stomach. I'm telling you that Tyler is beyond his age, and I'm telling you, if you get DeJuan Jones, that'd be another guy that he's not gonna want to be the only big guy up in there.
That's what I'm saying. You ain't gonna go in there entitled, and you in there with literally yellow jacket guys. You go come in there with the big head, and you in there with guys that's getting ready to win, like first ballot Hall of Famers. Man, he go get in line. He go get in line. Whoever we draft, I don't care if it's Broderick. I don't care if it's DeJuan. I don't care if it's Anton. Whoever we get in line, and they will.
Yeah.
They get in
like
line.
I said, the only one that you know, I just have some reservations about is Osiris. One, is he don't have the feet that the coaches like, and he is strong, but the movement, he doesn't have flexibility. And the Cowboys have shown over the past 2 or 3 years that they like flexibility. Oh, by the way, this O-line coach, he also teaches flexibility too. So you went from one O-line coach that did it to another one. So I mean, I think the tea leaves just shows us that hey, the Cowboys are going to pick an O-line, and number one, you have to have flexibility. 2, you have to be able to move, and 3, you have to have power.
So check this out. This is a very good comment and a fair comment. Let's take this one before you go. Check this out. This real by Trey. Let's talk about this. I ain't gonna fight Truth when it hit us in the mouth. He said we thought that about Collins too, though. But see, this is the thing, Trey. But hold on, this is the thing. It worked for Collins until he got paid. You see what I'm saying? Until he got paid. So when Collins first got here, oh yeah, let's not forget in 2017, he was low key our best offensive lineman at right tackle.
But the difference between Collins and Torrance, Collins always was able to move. That's the big difference.
Yeah.
We have film of Collins being 30 yards down the field as a Cowboy.
No. But he was talking about, Coach. He was talking about that Todd is going to raise all the boats. That argument that we was making. So he was saying it didn't work with Collins. I would say this: it worked before it didn't work.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? It worked up until he got paid.
I think some of these makeups of these guys, I think, as long as we pick, I think the Cowboys been doing a good job with O-line, and I agree with Trey. Collins, once he got paid, it was different, but all the other offensive linemen, when they got paid, they didn't change.
Nope.
They stayed the same.
Yeah. They got to get the psychoanalysis right. That's what they got to get right. They got to get that psychoanalysis right. You know what I mean? Because the first thing that I would look at, if I was looking at Jones, Coach, if I was looking at DeJuan Jones, I would go look at the transition of him going from a basketball player to a starting tackle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would want to see how long it took him. What was the process? What was the cycle? Because it's hard to gain weight just as sometimes it is to lose weight. You know what I mean? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I know you probably watched the Senior Bowl. When he was doing his one-on-ones, he rushed up to the front. He wanted the best. He beat every single person, and then he walked off and he was done. I like that mentality. Ooh. I'm a dog walk all of y'all. I'm gonna let y'all know I dog walk you, and I'm out of here. I have nothing else to prove.
Hey, Coach, one more thing. I keep saying one more thing. I've been saying one more thing with you, but I can't stop talking. So check it. I want to give a comp on DeJuan Jones. I want to get your thoughts on this. You know who I think DeJuan Jones is? I'm gonna be all the way honest. You ready for this, Coach?
Yep.
I think DeJuan Jones is this year's DK Metcalf. Where it makes no damn sense why he is ranked where he is.
Yeah.
Am I tripping? Because remember when DK was coming out, they were saying stupid stuff like, well, you know, he ran that 4.2 and that 4.3, but we're concerned about his body fat. Like what Coach is saying, he dominated the Senior Bowl. He got the longest wingspan. He got better punches and hands than Tyler Smith. And we gave Tyler Smith on the regrade a top 5, but we scratching our head at him.
One thing that both Tyler Smith tape and DeJuan Jones tape showed And even Steve Avila, you know, South, I have to throw him in there too. They are nasty, and they want to finish every block, and they want to put all their weight on you in the dirt. And then, if you look at some of Ron Jones, he get up and he'll look at down at you. He'll look down at you. I'm telling you, that mentality that Tyler Smith had, DeJuan Jones have, I've seen Osiris have, I've seen Steve Avila have. And that's what, if you're trying to look at...
Because I told Coach, I said, hey, Coach, man, call in at any time. And he hasn't been shy about it at all. He been calling in, giving fantastic offensive line commentary. Fantastic. So, y'all get prepared because this was a marathon. I honestly I'm being sorry, y'all. I didn't want this to be a marathon show. But I knew at the end of this show I was going to walk out smarter than when I walked in. Because of Coach Q, because of C, because of so many of y'all in the chat. I can't name all the names, but I do, and I am smarter walking out than what I was walking in. So what we trying to do is interpret the tea leaves, and we going to be going through a lot of these type of series. That's not, it's not the usual series, but what's happening is we really trying to really get a good feel of what's the smartest thing for the Dallas Cowboys to do. And I'm being dead ass serious when I say I walked in kind of scratching my head at 26. I was looking at Steve. I was looking at, obviously both of the Jones boys, right? It makes sense. You got to look at them. DeJuan, I got to look at Broderick. We haven't talked about Anton. That's another one. We talked about him a little bit. Yes, I am going live tonight. Yes. We got more and more content coming tonight as well. So, but this was one that I really, really wanted to take my time on. And we going to be really breaking down the tea leaves. Because it's a lot that came out that a lot of people, I promise you, are not seeing. They just, I'm being honest, they not seeing it. But I think if we go through this slowly and go through this together, because we did a lot that a lot of people are not giving you. I'm just being honest. How many people are showing you not just the CBS board, but the NFL draft board and the ESPN draft board to get a real consensus, Oh, hold on. You say you calling, Coach? I don't see you calling, Coach. Oh, I see it. I'll call you right now. But how many people doing this? Ain't nobody doing this, man. Just keeping it real.
Please leave your message for...
Coach, I just tried to call you. Hold on. I'm accepting it. Give me 1 second. So, we doing a marathon, so let's keep going. Boss Cowboy Sports. What's up, Coach?
What's going on, boss? Hey, man. Coach Q was right on point. Last week when I sent you that, say, hey, man, I see the guy, man. I told you that. I said, listen, you can't teach.
Broderick.
Yeah, when I sent you that film on DeJuan Jones, remember?
Oh, DeJuan.
Yeah. To look at, yeah. Remember I told you, I said that was my guy. You know what I'm saying? That was my guy because you can't teach. One, you can't teach that side, and anytime a player knows his assets and he uses his asset to the fullest with his reach, that's gonna negate any little bit of quickness he may not have, because once he put his hands on you, that's it. It's not gonna be, even guys like Parsons and people like that not gonna like dealing with him because of his reach and his hand strength. If we think about it, that's been Tyron Smith's biggest asset, talking about having movement in the guards. That's where I think if Broderick Jones from the Georgia was to fall, I believe he has some flexibility. He can play guard, and he does a lot of pulling. If DeJuan Jones is now on the board, but it tells me that they're trying to go tackle because of you wouldn't bring another guy in here from the free agent market that has playing experience, which he moved, and he was a mobile lineman if they signed Wilkerson. That tells me that, hey, they're really going to key in on tackle, but it might be a smoke screen with these guards, and I don't think they want to be cumbersome in there with guard. They still may draft a guard because the Cowboys are low-key not only trying to replace the left guard, but they're looking for the replacement to the right guard as well. Not this year. No, Cowboy fans, don't shake me with a butter knife, but they may have gotten some word from Zach Martin that he's not going to go no 4 or 5 more years. This might be getting close to the end of the road with him. Not because of it, but sometimes guys get beat up. You don't see them injured, but they get beat up. And 12 or 13 years, they know that his contract has run out. He knows that we probably not going to give a long-term contract to a guy that's in his 13th year. So they're looking ahead to say, hey, if we get a tackle in here and we draft a guard later on in the draft, that guy can make it be put on the shelf and work his way in. So all the tea leaves are pointing into that they're looking at that tackle. And that tackle, man, DeJuan Jones, you can't listen. Cowboy fans, I don't even know why the draft board got this guy where he's at, because
DK Metcalf, coach.
It's all about production. The guy don't give up sacks because he's got something that you cannot teach. You cannot teach that wingspan and a guy that knows how to use it. It's a difference if a guy had that wingspan and you had to teach him how to use it. He understands his asset and he uses it to his best ability. And that asset of wingspan with power, because you're not going to bull rush that guy. So the only way he already knows, the only way you're going to get around me is to go around, try to beat me on the corner. And I'm going to use that's what they're looking to improve on that. I heard they got a fullback, and they think about signing a fullback that came from Tennessee as well. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're looking to be physical in their run game, but I believe that they really felt that our run game was hindered not by just the linemen. They felt our run game was hindered by the people that really make the run game go. That's your running back. I mean, that's your lead blockers, and that's your tight ends, because we have to be physical in those areas. Because, boss, I'll say it like this. When you judge your team of how physical they are, people always judge by the linemen and the D-line. But the level of physicality of a team is really judged by the receivers, the defensive backs, tight ends. If they're physical and they're winning their physical battles all the time,
the team physical.
That gives you a sign that you're a physical football team.
Yeah.
But if you just physical just in the line and you're losing all the skill position battles when you have to make those
it's not a culture.
Blocks,
it's not a culture. It's not a
that's
culture.
Right.
It's like that. Yep.
And that's what San Francisco is.
Yeah, they're
San Francisco.
Yeah, they're culture. You'll see
that's right.
Receivers blocking, Kittle blocking, hard too, physical. Yeah.
That's right. And you don't come.
It's also how they practice. It's how they practice too, because we talked about that with Twin, Law Brother, who's a San Francisco fan, and he was talking about the things that you've been saying for a while. It's taking it right up to that line in training camp of not going over the rules, but playing right there at that physicality line to develop a mentality. So good insight on that, though.
Especially when you got a young team, and now we're building depth to the point that we could do those things. But like I said, they're building their team where they can go the best player available. I think a lot of this is smoke screens, what they're doing with this, and I don't think they want to tip their hand, because when you're in this type of spot, when you got, if you start today, you can go out there and play. May not be at the ultimate, but you can go out there and play right now today. So now you don't want to tip your hand, because now you really want to, if you're out there say the best player available, but you want the best player available on your board that you can pick. So you're going to kind of hide your hand here and throw some smoke screen. And we know the Cowboys are good at releasing stories. They can do that well. They can do that better than any sports franchise in history. Letting stuff come out and have everybody get a buzz and go crazy about it. They love doing that. But just like what Ant was saying yesterday, the stuff you don't hear about, the stuff that's low key that you don't hear them say more than one time, that's where you need to be looking. But all the stuff that they go out there and keep on talking and say, yeah, don't believe that. Right. Believe the stuff that they don't talk about. And that's where, where we from. So Taco, they hadn't talked about that at all. They talk about God, then they released all these things about God, but they may be looking at Taco, and Coach Q is right about which I think he's right about the movement of guards. That's why Jerry might have heard that movement of guard type thing, and yes, still one of Steele's best assets is his feet. He can move. He can get up the field. He can get around. He can move. So, but I don't think they'll do that. But that's one of his assets. He is a very fast, movable lineman. That's one of his assets. So, I'm glad somebody is on the board with DeJuan Jones. But if they really looking at it, they're gonna be low key about it, man. But like I said, your analysis is right on point, brother.
Appreciate it, Coach.
I appreciate you, brother.
All right, that was Coach Marv, man. Wonderful call as always. So I want to kind of get, I was supposed to be getting out, but let me get into a little bit of what he was saying too about this being a smoke screen. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I pulled 2 lists and I put them together. The 30 visit list and the pro day visits, right? I put them together. And then you can see a pattern, especially when you put both of them together. So Coach was saying that they likely trying to keep this under wraps, which it makes sense because Cameron Milligan also said, I feel the same way. I think they smoke screening because we've been screwed over so many times showing interest publicly. That's real. And he said people like to scoop up our guys. True. So even before I get into this, what happened last year? Before we got Tyler Smith, who was the 2 people that was drafted right before us? And it was a lot of talk about us getting these particular guys. Who? Think about it. Who? Do y'all remember? Two guards. Green out of A&M and the other guard was out of Boston College. And we lost, at that time, we lost Connor Williams. And it was a bunch of talk about us going with the guards. And they got wiped out right before we picked. It was coming out to Cameron's point. Zion, right. Q-Dog, thank you. Zion was one. Zion was out of Boston College, if I remember right. Help me out, Coach, if you remember. Yeah, Zion and Green. Green was out of A&M, if I remember right. But I remember when they got picked, though. It was right before us. So it does look like the Cowboys are doing a much better job of hiding their hand. Because was that really a coincidence that right before we getting ready to pick, our competitors step in and take the picks that we probably was getting ready to take? That's real though. I'm keeping it all the way real. And so same thing happened with Dallas Goedert. Cameron just said the same thing. Yep. Also happened with Hurts. Remember Jerry came out saying how he liked Hurts a lot? Do y'all remember that? Jalen Hurts. He was saying, I really like Hurts. Of course, they was looking at Hurts as a backup to Dak. They weren't looking at him to be a starter. But he verbally came out publicly to Cameron's point saying we like Hurts. So Dallas Goedert, They jumped us to get Dallas Goedert. Do y'all remember that? Philly jumped in front of us to get Dallas Goedert. So now it does look like it's some better poker being played by the Dallas Cowboys, some good bluffing, you know. So, because to Coach Marv's point, I showed this yesterday. I broke this down by position, right? And it's a couple of things that stand out. First of all, you can see from linebacker that they looking at linebacker, but they looking at late round linebackers. That's who they bringing in, right? Hold on, y'all. So then, obviously, corner stood out because corner looked like they looking at top corners. It looked like they dead ass serious about corner. I'm talking about they looking all over for corner. That's what it looked like to me. They're looking under every rock and they looking at Emmanuel Forbes. They looked at him twice. They brought him in for a 30 visit and they went to his pro day. It's very few positions they did that with. And corner is what they looking at the most. Smoke screen is what Coach was talking about. I think is on running back because you don't see a lot of activity on running back for us to allegedly have such a running back need. Don't make sense. So likely they trying to keep from showing their hand. And so then you look at the guards. They don't have a bunch of activity on guards. But it's no way you can be thinking that when all the tea leaves say that you got a major need at guard and you have never fully filled that position since Leary. So obviously, to Coach Mar's point, that is likely a smokescreen as well. But then I have to add Zay Flowers to this list because he just got added to the 30 visit. So I have to add to this list Zay Flowers out of Boston College. I'm adding it as we speak, real time. Because that came out yesterday, you know? And he is, I think, ranked 22 on the CBS. Hold on, let me look. Yeah, he 20th. He 20th. So he's 20th on the CBS. So that tells me I don't believe that they wasting resources. I'm just being honest. I believe that they are preparing, or this is a super exotic smokescreen. But I don't see, this is a lot of movement for receiver. This is saying either they getting ready to likely throw another big weapon at Dak, and they gonna probably try to solve that guard need in round 2. But it's no way we can look at all the receivers that they bringing in from the 30, right? Especially where these receivers are ranked. So you got Quentin, a 10 guy, top 10 guy in terms of grades and ranks by CBS. Zay Flowers, top 20 guy. Then you got Jalen Hyatt, who's considered by most to be a first rounder as well, second rounder, right? And then JSN. So we looking at 4 first round receivers. You can even say 5 with Josh Downs. They looking at receiver, y'all. I don't care what nobody say. But to the smoke screen that Coach Marv was talking about, it ain't no tackles at all on this list. It don't make no sense. Yeah, and this is a very good point. I'm gonna talk about this too, likely this evening because I'm doing a quarterback show either tonight or in the morning. But yeah, we talking about this, Coach. He said, "Bosses, Hayden Hooker get picked by the Cowboys. Dak negotiations are going south. Hooker would be the QB of the future." Ooh, see, and that's a good. Because I'm gonna tell you something, and I mean this, Coach. I believe Hayden Hooker right now is the best value in the entire draft. The best value. And I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't even be mad if we got Hayden Hooker. So obviously, I'm gonna talk about that when I get back. I don't want to talk about that too much because I'm gonna give away the secret sauce. I'm gonna save some of that. But anyway, man, y'all stay up, man. I'm gonna be back later. Y'all come back. We gonna probably do a film session, or you're gonna see me go through the quarterback chapter of my book, and just really break all that down. And it's gonna be a big portion that's dealing with Hayden. But y'all stay up. It's Boss Cowboy Sports, where your voice matter. Peace. Another one, man. You already know.
Another one.
Run it up.
Run it up, run it up.
Boss Cowboy Sports, where your voice matters.
Run it up.
I need the cash pronto. I don't throw interceptions like Romo.
I don't throw no interceptions like Romo. I really don't. I'm speaking my mind.
Bringing real back. He be speaking his mind. That boy with the shit.
Y'all share this, man. I know y'all like this channel, man. Find other people like yourself, man. For real.
Boss Cowboy Sports.
Come on now. I need that cash pronto.
Run it up, run it up. I need the cash pronto. I don't throw interceptions like Romo.